Good morning. You're going to have to forgive the slightly ridiculous hat, I'm afraid, but haircuts are in short supply at the moment. When you live in a tiny village, there's not exactly a lot of choices. Now, my wife would normally cut my hair, but she's kind of busy writing a book as well as building us a new front gate, which is starting to look awesome. You're going to have to put up with the hat that conceals my terrible haircut. Anyway, another video about Instagram, but this time about an alternative to Instagram. So I don't know if you noticed, but last week the head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, released a video. Instagram's kind of doing this thing at the moment where they're trying to improve their public image. And this started a couple of weeks ago when Adam Mosseri, head of Instagram, wrote a blog trying to be more transparent about how Instagram works, writing about how the algorithm functions and how all of your interactions with the app determine what Instagram shows you. I don't think it revealed much that's new. My last video complained about how Instagram isn't upfront about how much money it makes from community and feature accounts, particularly those that just take other people's work and post it without actually getting permission first. So this time, Adam Mosseri has released a short video which he posted to his Instagram and also to Twitter, where he talks about the changes that Instagram is going to be undertaking in the coming months. And again, it's even more of a pivot to video. And there's a lot of stuff he discusses, competing with TikTok and YouTube about becoming an entertainment platform, and the shift towards full screen video, which it's really keen to implement. But there was one headline that came out of that video, whether it was deliberate or not. He said, "We are no longer a photo sharing app." Now, this isn't a surprise to most of us. Instagram started out as a great place to share images. Suddenly, everyone was a photographer. You could apply these really cool, at the time, like retro filters. It was really easy to share and connect with people that you know, or discover new work, or discover, amazing artists. But over the years, Instagram has demonstrated that it doesn't really respect photographers anymore. It's created this culture where copyright infringement is just completely normalized. Instagram makes a huge amount of money from people's work being reposted, and it doesn't have a proper system for sharing other people's work. To do that, you actually have to break Instagram's own terms and conditions unless you have permission from the copyright holder. What this confirms for many is that their suspicions are correct. It's kind of like almost like a bit of a slap in the face. Photographers built Instagram. A lot of people became photographers because of Instagram, and now Instagram is turning around and saying, well, thanks for all of your help. We don't need you anymore. We don't value your work. We don't respect your work. It's all about video now. And for quite a few people, I think that'll be the straw that breaks the camel's back. So it's triggered another round of people looking for different ways to share their work, alternative platforms. Now, quite a few platforms have come and gone over the years. A lot of them seem to arrive, get a load of Kickstarter funding or seed funding and say, oh, we're the perfect platform for photographers. Now, frustratingly, a lot of what these new social media apps forget is that photographers aren't really that interested in showing their work to other photographers. Yes, they're great platforms. It's a great way to share your work, get feedback, build a community. But in terms of getting your work out there, you want a broader audience than that. Instagram gave you that broad audience, and to a degree, it still does. Now, I would argue that the best alternative to Instagram is actually Twitter. It's good. It's not perfect. There's things it needs to fix, and I've written an article recently about a whole list of things that it needs to change, such as its terms and conditions, the way it uses your work or has permission to use your work once you've posted it there, the way you can have your work embedded into websites without realizing and having very little control. So yeah, there's a few things it needs to change. But as a platform for sharing photographs, it is a great option. It gives you the option to switch to a chronological feed. You don't have to worry about image format so much and size. It's very quick. It's just drag and drop. You can curate lists. You can follow lists. And it has a built-in system from the ground up that allows you to share other people's work whilst bringing visibility to the artist whose work you are sharing. You retweet something and it gives visibility to the person you are retweeting. Instagram does not have this. So to a degree, people are moving from Instagram to Twitter. You'll see people appearing on Twitter, having, seen Mosseri's video, discovered that Twitter is actually quite good for sharing images, and are now saying, okay, yeah, this is the platform for me. So should you switch from Instagram to Twitter? Well, maybe. For me, no. I enjoy using both. I see advantages for both. Yeah, Instagram is not ideal. My engagement has dropped off. The number of followers doesn't really ever seem to change very much. But I enjoy the experience. I've shifted towards using it more as a diary and just chatting to people rather than something that I'm constantly trying to grow. Something that I'm constantly plowing loads of energy into. Twitter is low effort. You can get started really quickly. You're not having to write super long captions or, count your hashtags or constantly produce stories or worried about whether you should be producing more reels. There are services like Later and Buffer, so you can just schedule a load of posts for a day or, a couple of days. It's really easy. And then there's services like If This Then That, if you want to have a crossover between Instagram and Twitter, so that when you post something on Instagram, it also gets cross-posted to Twitter. So the announcement from Instagram isn't necessarily a reason to walk away, but it is a reminder that social media evolves really quickly. And it's a reminder that you don't necessarily want to have all of your eggs in one basket. So yeah, it's not a replacement, but it's got to be a better option than a platform where the boss has said, hey, we're not really interested in photos anymore. If you have any views on this, be sure to leave them in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, click the thumbs up thing. You can subscribe. There's a video every week. Other stuff I'm sure that I'm supposed to say at the end of the video. I think that'll do for now. I hate outros, and this one's just gonna stop.